The countdown is on. Just a few bonus hours left today, tomorrow, Friday, and Duck Insider is back on Monday. You will have our normal lineup back just in time to get you ready for football season. You tune into 105.1 The Fan. You turn into 1080 The Fan, 105.1thefan.com, Odyssey.com. However you listen to the station, Duck Insider back on Monday. But we've been having our own Duck Insider join us from time to time. And with us again is the wonderful, the handsome, the coiffed Dusty Hara. Still haven't cut that hair.
Crowd going wild. Yeah. No haircut.
It's touching the collar. It's touching the collar today. This is the first time that I've noticed that.
I got long hair. I don't know how long it's going to go for. I'm getting sick of it.
Yeah.
I think it's time.
It requires work. Well, the fresh start next week. We come in and we'll have, the lineup back. When are you going to start going down to Eugene?
I will be down there on Monday. Monday is Ducks Media Day.
Yep.
And when Duck Insider returns, you will hear Dan Lanning, Dante Moore, probably Tatum Tuioti, Jamari Johnson.
Yeah.
All the major players will be on that first episode of Duck Insider.
Well, I think what everybody wants to know is, will Dusty Hara be on that first episode of Duck Insider? That's
No, important people will be.
Yeah, but you asking the question, I always enjoy, I will say this as a genuine compliment. Love the post-game interviews that you get and do. And we do hear those a lot on Duck Insider, so sitting in here it'll be funny because I'll actually see you walking around the building and then there's your voice on the radio, which is always fun. But no, the instant reaction that you always get. So excellent coverage for the Ducks and the football season. I mean, what are we expecting from Dan Lanning? Because he has not got up to speak yet.
Yes.
Oh, did he?
He did.
Okay,
He did.
Well, look at that.
It was toned down. It was pretty tame. I mean, I think that everything that he says in these, as time goes on, and now it's like, my goodness, this is entering year 5, right?
No inflatable duck in Lake Michigan?
No.
Okay.
No.
What did they
standard.
do with that thing? They built that giant
They took
duck,
it to Japan.
dropped it in the river. How come we don't see it more often? Let's get that thing out all over the place.
I don't know. I think it should go everywhere, though.
Amen. Yeah. Just put a team in charge of it and just float it in whatever nearest body of water you can find wherever you're playing. Come on.
This might be expensive, but I don't know. I don't even know where that thing came from.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do with that when it's done?
Yeah, it was expensive to get, so you might as well use it.
Yeah.
It
was very tame from Coach Lanning, though, because I think his kind of message to everybody else is, the expectations everywhere else aren't going to be higher than the ones that we have. Yeah. And he said it before, is like, last year it felt like Oregon had a lot of talent on their roster. This year it feels like they have a lot of experience on this roster, and they do. They're returning, 200 starts from a year ago.
Yeah, well, and at important positions, too. I mean, just having a return quarterback makes such a difference, and having Dante Moore back, and that was a big decision, especially in kind of a light quarterback class for the NFL draft. I'm sure he would have skyrocketed up boards across the NFL. So to come back and realize that Oregon is a place where he can get better and be ready to play is a big compliment.
Well, and I mean, I think that goes a long way with NIL too. I mean, not to say that NIL these guys didn't make these decisions before NIL, because you had, Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck and Matt Barkley and Justin Herbert, who all came back for one more year, and they all ended up top 10 picks, but to varied levels of success in the NFL.
And one of the challenges you have too is new offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't I want another year with Will Stein. It was I want another year at Oregon, which is, I guess, a compliment to the Dan Lanning program that he's built, when you can have turnover in the coaching ranks but keep guys coming back.
Yeah, and he showed a lot of maturity coming from UCLA and sitting a year and being willing to sit a year behind Dylan Gabriel. Then I think everything that he's said since deciding to return to Oregon is that he had a lot of maturity in saying, I have a lot to learn still. Yeah. And now that you can still make a little bit of money in college, a lot of money in college, and still go through the learning
before,
yeah,
but
right?
we just didn't talk about it.
But still go through those. All right, there's so much more football I need to see. He's only started 20 games,
which is not very many.
That is not very many.
Yep.
And so you can go through this again, and saying, the coordinator changeover, that used to be a huge deal, right? Coordinator leaves, quarterback's gone, right? Mm-hmm. He's going to be out the door. Well, in the NFL, especially when you're a top pick, spoiler alert, you have a lot of turnover with play callers, right?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
And this isn't a full system change. The terminology is the same. The voices in his ears will be largely the same.
Yeah.
With, Koakai, who's the quarterback's coach, who, chocolate or vanilla, that was the big one at him. Will Stein is gone, but Maringer, they're all still there.
Yeah.
And so that will go a long way with kind of that comfort level and him coming back.
Yeah, and I think the muted nature of Dan Lanning is he's been punched in the mouth a couple times in recent years. I mean, you come off of a whooping from Ohio State 2 years ago and then 2 losses to Indiana last year. I think realizing that, hey, we're one of the top teams, but we are not the top team until we can raise that trophy. And I think that has to be the expectation, but I don't know how you put it into context of championship or bust. What does bust mean? I always think that's always the funniest part of that. I mean, I think Dan Lanning is secure in his job, and I don't think there's anybody that's out there going, oh, if Dan Lanning doesn't do this, there's a hot seat.
Yeah, 48-8 in 4 years is pretty good.
It's not bad. No. Not bad. Yeah, but what you do in those big games at some point may catch up to him. It caught up to James Franklin. It was getting close. Ryan Day on a hot seat just a couple years ago seemed absurd. I don't know what his record was in his first 50 or so games or whatever it was, but I'm sure it was as good or better than what Dan Lanning has done. So at some point it gets to that, but I don't think we're anywhere near that. Right?
I don't think they're anywhere near it. Like when you say championship or bust, I think like the bust would be ending the season the way they have the last 2 years. I mean, there's no secret about it. Like, and Lanning has talked about it. Dante Moore's talked about it. Everybody around there's talked about it. Like, that is a bitter taste in your mouth when you end the last 2 seasons the way that they have. And that changing that in championship and then like the bust would be that again, right?
But I mean that's it's championship or we're all disappointed. I mean, bust is we need to change things up. That's the way I always think of it.
So I don't think that's gonna
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
so I'm saying I want to like anybody that says championship or bust. No, that is not the case. There's not going to be big changes. Here's the other thing: is you spend a lot more time on the University of Oregon campus than I do. There is quite the tribute to the university's only Heisman Trophy winner. Mm-hmm. You have the Marcus Mariota Center, or whatever it's called, where you walk through. I mean, the detail they put into just the number 8 and all the detail and everything that goes around it. What are they going to do if they win a national championship? To be one of the guys that brings a championship to the University of Oregon? I mean, that is legendary stuff.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that.
Yeah.
And what that would
you win a individual trophy. This is what we built for you. If you're Dante Moore and you're the quarterback that is the head of the spear that wins a national championship, if you're those guys on that roster, I mean, the Ducks. I heard Dirt and Sprague talking about the new money thing with their guest the other day. I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about how
George Reister.
Yeah, Reister. Yeah, from Greece. George Reister is talking from his Greek vacation about the new money at Indiana, and Dirt wasn't ready to go that far because Oregon kind of is new money. But there's also a lot of guys that have come through this program and gotten very, very close to winning the national championship. So if you're the guy that does it, I mean, that has to be something. Whoa.
No doubt about it. I mean, there would be a lot. I think that ultimately as like building monuments or whatever.
Who knows what it ends up being? But I mean,
I don't know. But yes,
but there's a draw to bring you back to
no doubt
for
about
unfinished
it.
business.
I think, and every person that is revered there from the quarterback position has taken a step forward from the program. Whether Joey Harrington, in the Fiesta Bowl win, it's Marcus Mariota winning a Heisman Trophy. Dennis Dixon, being on the cusp of a Heisman and having a team that was primed to be in national championship consideration.
A knee injury short of it, right?
And that is the thing is that I find it hilarious as we look at like Big Ten media days and all of these media days where we have the preseason polls. And do you remember who was at the top of the preseason poll last year in the Big Ten?
I would assume it was Ohio State.
No, it was Penn State. Penn State was
That's
number
correct. That is
one
right. That
in
is
the
right.
Big Ten preseason media.
Well, they win 3 games last year.
Drew Aller.
They finished 12th or
Yeah.
13th. They finished 13th in the Big Ten standings last year.
Yeah. Wait, there's not 10 teams in the Big Ten? That doesn't make any sense.
We have no idea how this season is going to go.
That's
and
fair.
Injury
That's fair.
luck has so much to do with it. And everybody is talking, about
Penn State didn't have injuries though last
yeah,
year.
they had injuries mount up, but they also just
were terrible.
They stumbled out of the gate. They were
Yeah.
overconfident. They didn't know how to handle the expectations that were kind of thrust upon them. And
losing to Oregon really hurt them down the rest of the season.
It spiraled.
They spiraled for the next 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were in a spiral before because they lost to UCLA.
Yeah.
Right? Remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And like guys like Luke Altmaier and Drew Aller were the two Big Ten preseason quarterbacks.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't think anybody was talking about Drew Aller or Luke Altmaier at the end of last season. So,
Yeah.
like we sit here and everybody has all these expectations. There is so much that needs to be proved
Yeah.
between now and January that you don't know really what's going to come out onto the field. And there's a lot of games that people look at right now and will say, these are the big games. Obviously, you can look at like USC, Ohio State. Those are going to be really good games. Nobody knows what to expect from Oklahoma State.
Do we have an idea of what to expect from Boise State? A couple years ago, they came out and nearly got knocked off Oregon before they got into Big Ten play.
In that, there was a lot of panic because of the way the Ducks started the season against Idaho and Boise State, and there was, oh no, this team isn't ready. Well, then they just boom, 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 boom
through. Yeah, yeah.
We have no earthly idea. And that's the reality. We know that Oregon is talented. We know that they have experience, and experience is like the big one that you can lean on.
Yeah.
And outside of that, like there's so many unknowns because I think Oklahoma State is going to be exponentially better than they were last. Well, I mean,
I'm sorry they lost.
was against Oregon in their trip to Autzen, but they get Meestermaker, the quarterback from North Texas, because he followed Eric Morris. And remember, Eric Morris, when he was the offensive coordinator at Washington State, pretty dang good offensive coordinator at Washington State. He goes down to North Texas. Now he's over at Oklahoma State, and he brought a bulk of that roster with him. And they were one of those teams in consideration for the Group of Five last year to get into the college football playoff. And so you take a bulk of that. They had a decent transfer portal outside of the North Texas guys. Oklahoma State is going to be Mark Levitt. We don't know how good they're going to be when Oregon has to go to Stillwater and play a 9 a.m. Pacific kick, right?
Yeah.
Like that's just the point of nobody has any earthly idea of what's going to happen.
Well, I want to hear your answers for what the unanswered questions are specifically in the Big Ten, at least your biggest unanswered questions. And on this roster, you said 200 returning starts for the Ducks, but there are position groups that do not have that much experience. So I want to know that. But before we do, anything that you heard from Big Ten Media Day that sticks out? Yesterday, the commentary that I heard on it was Isaac and Suk comparing tans between coaches. So I have not heard much.
Dude, the tans are...
It's a real thing.
It's electric. I'll tell you, Luke Fickell, Brett Bielema, those guys, they were in the sun this summer. Well, I don't know if it's t-shirt tans, they're outside, they're just coaching a lot, hitting the recruiting.
I think it was Isaac that said
recruiting.
Fishing tans. I think that's it.
They probably got that going on.
Sport fishing is, I think, pretty popular among the college coaching ranks. Wasn't there some guy that was molesting a fish a few years ago? Is that a thing? Am I making that up?
You're talking the old Florida coach. That was not him.
It didn't look just like him.
It
though?
looked exactly
Yeah.
like him, and it was not him.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
That's why I kept it vague.
What Florida coach was that? They've gone through a lot.
He
was the guy that was at Colorado State, too. Oh, goodness.
Either way, it wasn't him, so we don't...
It wasn't him.
Yeah.
But
Jim McElwain?
McElwain. Jim McElwain.
It was McElwain.
That was Jim McElwain. Yep.
Yeah. His doppelganger, but yes, it feels
100%.
feels pretty good. So, your biggest unanswered questions for the conference and for the team. We'll do that next with Dusty Hara. You're listening to a bonus hour of Happy Hour on 105.1 The Fan.
The biggest.
Thanks, Cornell. Yes, it is Luke Anderson, but also have Dusty Hara here. I will not pretend that I closely follow college football. I've given plenty of reasons for that. One of them is apparently a Tennessee football player has been suspended for 2 games for taking a flight worth $427 in the NIL era. Can you explain that to me? How
No.
accepting a flight from an agent is not okay?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I don't, because it was part of the pre-draft process where he was like in and out, not sure what he was going to do.
Yep.
This is the same thing that got Bo Jackson
Yes.
to not play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
Refused to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Said, I will go and play baseball. And
and he did.
he did. And then the Raiders were like, do you want to play for like half the season for us? You have to remember, Bo didn't even play full seasons. He just showed up as soon as baseball was over and just went and dominated.
And Tecmo football was like, "Yep, we're going to put him as the best player in the game," and that was good.
Yeah, he's a 99 if he were to show up and be on Madden today. I think that's pretty obvious.
There are 2 times playing video games that I remember it was just like, nope, can't do it. 3 of them. One was Tecmo, when you were playing your buddies, they'd be like, can't be the Raiders.
Oh,
Don't-
you
no.
outlawed it.
Can't,
Okay.
no. It was like it was agreed
It's a
upon by
Sure.
everybody.
Yeah. And Tecmo Bowl or Tecmo Super Bowl? Because Tecmo Super Bowl is a little more even.
I think it was just Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
The other team was you can't play with Michael Vick in Madden when he was the cover athlete. That was just like cheat code. The other one was the college football game with Pat White, Noel Devine, those West Virginia teams.
Yeah.
And the Tavon Austin.
Yep. It was just like, you can't, unfair.
One of-
Unfair. Can't do it. And so those are the 3 teams that I remember. It was just like a non-starter going up against those teams.
My uncle always used Bo Jackson and always used the Raiders in Tecmo Bowl. And he also always used like the Top Gun joystick for the NES. Those were his 2 favorite games.
Oh, wow.
The actual Top Gun, but it was the joystick was made with like the trigger on it and the button was on top, and he would use that to play Tecmo Bowl. And one time, Bo Jackson was caught from behind by some defender and tackled, and he was so shocked, appalled, and angered by it that he ripped the joystick off the base in 2, and the game was over. So it
Sounds like a Raider fan.
It has very much a Raiders
It
fan.
sounds like something a Raider fan would do.
So you can catch Bo. I don't know how often it has happened in the history of Tecmo Bowl, but it is possible.
Golly, was it
Yeah.
Dion? Did Dion track him
I don't know
down?
if Dion was even on the original Tecmo Bowl.
Would
but
that have been Daryl Green? Was he playing
Darryl Green helped him
Washington?
down?
Was it
he was
Daryl Green?
He was playing my brother. I couldn't tell you who it was, but
Hot
I
dang.
remember that. The other one, the greatest secret video game athlete, and I've talked about this on the show before, Scott Hatteberg, was a backup catcher or first baseman for the Red Sox on Griffey Baseball for Super Nintendo.
Okay.
And I had a buddy that every game, if he needed a late run, he would pinch hit Scott Hatteberg, and he would always hit a home run.
What?
It carried over into MLB 2K8 because
we've had this
I can play
conversation.
that on the GameCube.
Yep.
As I go home today, Scott Hatteberg will go 2 for 3, 2 base hits, 2 RBIs.
But
Was Scott Hatteberg's brother a programmer?
don't know.
What?
Well, and the funny thing was, it was only good for 1 at bat in Griffey. At least it wasn't 2 for 3 with 2 home runs.
he was a pinch hitter,
but
you,
it was
you couldn't play the full game with him. But
it
you
was
pinch hit him, come bring him
Yep.
in like the 6th, have him get 2 ABs.
Yeah. There you go.
game.
So there's your video game cheats for that. Okay, Dusty, before we lose you,
I am lost with Scott Hatteberg, being.
ready to keep you around for a little bit longer. To actually
What
get
is
through.
happening?
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Don't know how universally known that is, but yeah, at least on Griffey Baseball on the Super Nintendo, I was on the wrong end of it 100 times. So
Who
I can
knew?
tell you, yeah, well, apparently we've had the conversation. Casey somehow knew about the greatness of Scott Hatteberg in video game baseball. So in a different context.
Am I literally talking to the only 2 people
Yeah.
that know this? What?
Well, no, again, it was.
You
I
might-
didn't even.
honestly, you might.
Yeah. Well, who knows?
Okay, Scott Hatteberg, he had the walk-off home run in the movie
Yeah.
Moneyball.
Well, yeah, we know that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of Scott Hatteberg's greatness. Apparently,
Chris Pratt.
Chris
Scott
Pratt.
Hatteberg.
yeah, good for him.
Yep.
All right.
So,
Okay, what were we talking about?
I think we're going to try to talk about the Ducks. We talked about how much experience they have. You were saying how many unknowns there are. Laid out the perfect example of last year. If Penn State was picked to be number 1 in the Big Ten,
Indiana was 6th.
So they got it. They got it dead wrong. So with all the experience on this Duck team, give me your top 3 or 4 unknowns. We know who the quarterback is. We know that there's a new offensive coordinator. We know some of the changes around there, but give me your top few unknowns about this Duck team as a contrast to what we do know.
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest unknowns is how is the linebacking core, and everybody keeps bringing up the linebacking core is, if there is a hole to be had on this Oregon team, that's where it would be.
I mean, Bryce Betcher not being there will be weird.
And that, to me, is the unknown. It isn't who is going to be there because we know who those guys are, right? We know that it's going to be Williams and Mixon. And there is actually depth at that position that has experience and has come in and played serviceable snaps for Oregon. Bryce Betcher being gone is the big one because you heard throughout, spring ball, there was the reports that, there's a new voice behind us, like the defensive line.
Yeah.
What Bryce Betcher did for that defense was akin to what Dante Moore does on the offensive side in getting everybody in the right spot, making sure all the checks are correct, making sure everybody's on the same page and everybody's seeing all the same things. That is a big difference. And so that voice and that leadership role on the defensive side of the ball, what does that look like and who steps up into that role? Because you would think it would be one of the hand-in-the-ground guys, but there's so much that you can't see when you are lining up as a defensive lineman. So Tatum Tuioti, Mateo Uyunglele, Bear Alexander, Amari Washington, they will be vocal leaders of the defense, but who is that voice and that calming force? Dylan Thieneman came in last year as a one-year transfer, and he became that secondary voice from Bryce Betcher being the primary. Coy Parrish could be that, the Minnesota transfer safety who is coming in this year. But there is a lot of depth in the secondary that a lot of those guys could step up. I mean, you talk about 8 to 10 guys that could play significant snaps in the secondary.
But who's the leader of the defense is what you're saying?
That is number one.
Okay.
That is number one for me. The other one is, Pancho Lalaulu. Everybody talks about the 4 defensive linemen coming back and Dante Moore coming back. Those are huge. I think the starting center returning for one more year after being, I think he was the number 2 center in a lot of the mock drafts last year. This is a guy that can be a first-team All-American this year, and him coming back is huge. But what do the other 3 offensive linemen look like? Because you have Dave Iuli, who is back as well, and Kavika Rogers, who played spots last year.
Is it the Joe Moore Award? Is that the group of linemen? How many years in a row have the Ducks been finalists for that award?
I think it's 3 or 4, but the last 2 have been Alik Terry in the offensive line, and he's done a phenomenal job with that offensive line. But what does the imagination of who plays where? Because there's so many different guys that could be there. Michael Bennett, the transfer from Yale. You have Trent Ferguson and Fox Crater, who have been in the program.
Fox Crater is a real name
from Evergreen High School too.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, I believe he's from Evergreen High School.
I hear Fox Crater and I think like World War I foxhole and just the biggest, baddest dude in there. Yeah, Fox Crater is awesome. And if he went to Evergreen High School, I may have to put him up on my power rankings of Clark County great names. There was a kid that played for, I think it was Union years ago, named Jack Bauer, number 24. That was one of my favorites.
That is ridiculously awesome. Yeah, Evergreen High School, Vancouver, Washington, Fox Crater.
Plainsman.
There we go.
Oh, step it up, Fox. Let's go.
But that to me is, they have the depth. They've recruited really well. Who's playing and where are they playing at? Yeah. Because that has been, one of the big questions that everybody has. And then, you mentioned the coordinators and 2 new coordinators, but they've come from within. Yeah. Both have been offensive and defensive coordinators. Drew Maringer had 1 year as an offensive coordinator at Rutgers when he was 27 years old, I think, and it didn't go well. But I sit there and I think of it like, dude, I have no idea what I would be doing at 27 years old.
Yeah, not coordinating an offense.
Especially when you're up, your back's against the wall at a program like Rutgers at the time, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't have the talent. And look, X's and O's, they matter. Jimmy's and Joe's are a lot more, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you didn't have the talent that at Rutgers that he has at Oregon. And that was a long time ago. I mean, just think of how young and dumb we all were at 27 years old. Casey, how old are you?
25.
25.
In September.
25.
Yeah. So we were all as dumb or dumber than Casey. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
See?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Think about that.
That's dumb.
Think about that. So, and then Chris Hampton, he came from Tulane to Oregon, where he was a defense coordinator before and did a really good job with the Green Wave. So I mean, and Dan Lanning has shown that he'll go outside of the program if he doesn't feel like he has a guy there.
Yeah.
He obviously felt like he had the guys there.
Do you want to go quickly around the Big Ten and tell me your unknowns that you're worried about? You want to stick around for one more? What do you want to do?
We can do it quickly.
Let's do it quickly. Yeah. I think that's probably the better way to go.
Outside, I mean, just around the Big Ten, can Curt Cignetti do it again with these guys, right? So it was...
How much turnover did they have? Because they had the oldest team. They were older than the Green Bay Packers on average age.
And they had... Look, he had... The greatest thing that Curt Cignetti did, and this is like back to the Oklahoma State thing with Eric Morris, is he brought his culture that was successful, not just with his coaching staff, but the players as well.
Sure.
And when he went from JMU to Indiana, he brought a lot of guys that have played a lot of football, understood how things went, and that makes it so much more seamless when you're trying to get guys to buy in. Well, now those guys are cycling out. They have an influx of talent, though, and he has set the table really stinking well for them to continue to be successful. Josh Hoover is a supremely talented quarterback that has his flaws. Sounds familiar, like the guy who was the number 1 overall draft pick and the Heisman Trophy winner from a year ago.
Yeah.
And you hear Sonny Dykes kind of take a shot at him on the way out of TCU saying, Josh Hoover threw a lot of interceptions or whatever he said about it.
Yeah.
Saying that he turned the ball over a lot. Well, I have a feeling Curt Cignetti won't be having that. You replace guys like Elijah Surratt and Omar Cooper Jr. with Nick Marsh, the standout receiver from Michigan State.
That showed up in gold shoes and on day one was like, we don't do that here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it's setting the culture.
That one is a big unknown. The other one for me is Penn State and Matt Campbell kind of doing the same thing with his new crew. How quickly
he brought a lot up from Iowa State, right?
100%. And Bob Chesney at UCLA. I think the new coaches in the league, they're really damn good. From Pat Fitzgerald to Bob Chesney at UCLA, went from James Madison.
And did he do the same? Was he part of the Cignetti team?
Yeah, Wayne Knight, the running back who rushed for I think 1,700 yards last year at JMU, transferred to UCLA as well. He's one of the guys that is a preseason first-team All-American type running back. So UCLA is not going to be the doormat that people think they are going to be.
Yeah.
Bob Chesney is going to do a really good job there.
All right. Well, Indiana, Penn State, and UCLA, your unknowns around the conference. The knowns aren't going to be very fun either. So it should be a interesting season. We'll see if the Ducks end up being the surprise in the right direction or the wrong direction.
I'll also add this as the unknown, because I think they do. Does USC have a defense this year? Like they've talked about it. Hey, we're close. What does that look like with USC on the defensive side of the football?
This is the last one that we're doing. I think the haircut's probably the right choice because just at the angle that I'm at, just under here, I'm getting this flip that looks very 1980s, and we'll miss having you on the show, but I'll miss the hair a little bit more.
Maybe I'll just keep a mullet.
Yeah, that's not the word. At least for a day, when you trim it down, just leave the mullet and
got too much Hillsboro in me.
Walk in and see how the family likes it. I think you have to do it at least do a test walk through the house with it. Dusty, thanks for joining us. We will jump into some NFL stuff. There's quite a bit going on in Seahawks camp I want to touch on, so we'll do it after this walk over to the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk.
First on the Fan, Cincinnati Bengals defensive end Shamar Stewart was carted off the field earlier this morning with a left leg injury. The video released at a bit of a Zapruder zoom in.
Oh, jeez.
And, well, the injury does not look great.
Well, anytime you're carted off, it never sounds great. And this is a guy with gobs of potential on a defense they're trying to get going in Cincinnati. So
Yeah, Stewart, the team's first-round pick in 2025, battled injuries last season, only totaling 1 sack in 8 games. He now joins edge rusher for the Panthers, Nick Scourton, and Brian Breeze, who suffered injuries as well, suffered knee injuries earlier in training camp.
So if you're counting 2 for the Panthers, 1 for the Bengals so far, the first week of camp is always like, don't be in the news, don't be in the national news, don't be in the national news, because it's always this.
And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of prime time.
Years and years ago, I remember saying that I would love to see a team have the chutzpah, the huevos, the courage to go out and get rid of a quarterback in their prime and use that to build a complete team and just to see how it worked in the NFL. Seems like the trend has been going for years that you would get the quarterback, he's your franchise player, you have to pay him whatever he wants because you're held hostage by it. And the team that finally did it was the Seattle Seahawks. They went and got rid of Russ Wilson in the middle of what was potentially a Hall of Fame career, certainly the greatest Seahawks quarterback that we've ever seen. They traded him to Denver. They got a big haul for it, and the team couldn't quite get it done with Geno Smith, and they moved off of him and went and got a reclamation project. Sam Darnold just won a Super Bowl. It's pretty remarkable. But looking at the notes from training camp, got another thought. What are the chances that Sam Darnold's not the quarterback of the future? I mean, feels very much like he should be. And I'm not saying get rid of Sam, and I fully expect him to be the quarterback of the now and, for the next couple of years. But if Sam Darnold were to do what Baker Mayfield is doing to the Buccaneers, saying, I'm willing to go out and play as an unrestricted, going into the season without a contract and become an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year, you've got two guys backing you up right now where one of them in Drew Lock has looked good in camp, and you always hear like these nice notes about him, and having a good backup quarterback is something that is wonderful to have.
He seems like a great locker room
guy,
but not necessarily the guy that people want to be the starter.
But that's the thing. He hasn't really had a full go at it. He got a couple opportunities in Denver. He got to play for an injured Geno Smith a little bit and played just fine for it, but he's never been given the keys to the castle and said, go out and get it. There was a lot of, back and forth on what was going on before Sean Payton got there, because you had coaching turnover in Denver before that. So it was kind of weird. Nobody knew what to do after Peyton Manning. And I don't know how many quarterbacks played in the Trevor Siemian, Brock, whatever his name was. I know, but it's more fun to say whatever his name. But yes, Brock Osweiler and what was the other guy with the mustache?
Paxton Lynch.
Paxton Lynch. Yeah. So you had a lot of guys, and that's when Drew Lock got his shot at being the quarterback. But then they saw that, hey, we're going to be a team that's going to go out and get this guy that has won a Super Bowl in Seattle, that is a guy that you can build a team around and pay him a whole lot of money. And then you got Drew Lock, and they traded him away, and he ended up coming back, and he didn't win the job in New York when he was there for the season. So I'm not saying that he's the answer. But apparently the guy that had the best day of training camp yesterday and his best day of camp as a pro was Jalen Milroe. And that one intrigues me. Because if you're the Seattle Seahawks and your coach is the former defensive coordinator and had to prepare practices to go against Lamar Jackson.
And what were all the knocks on Jalen Milroe coming into the league?
It's accuracy.
He's not a strong enough passer yet.
But it was never that he doesn't have the ability to be. And it's accuracy primarily, and it's making quick, decisive decisions. And though the decision-making is something that you can learn, obviously the processing is a muscle that you have to be able to exercise it. And accuracy is something that can be coached, but you can be successful. We've seen this a million times, that you can be successful in college football without having everything put together. I mean, it happens all the time where a guy comes in and then they try to go to the next level and use their athleticism exclusively to be successful in the NFL. And outside of Michael Vick, I don't know how many guys have done that, because Lamar Jackson, a better passer than Michael Vick ever was.
Maybe Cam.
And he has gotten better. Cam, yeah, there's another example. But those guys, again, never, I mean, you have an MVP for Cam Newton, but he was not able to win a Super Bowl, not able to get it to Carolina, and his career was shortened because of it. So going out there and just being a power back at the quarterback position worked pretty well for a while, and then obviously caught up with him. The shoulder injuries got it where he was having trouble just throwing the football. Mm-hmm. So if you have Jalen Milroe in the wings, I don't know how you look at a guy like that and go, man, if we've got a window here to get him ready to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, Sam Darnold's a bridge to that, woo-hoo, buddy.
That'd be really special.
It would be
Because
it
I
would
know-
also be a lower cost way to do it. So if you get to Jalen Milroe's third, fourth year and you can extend him because you want to keep him on the roster, it's just something that rattled around my brain when they drafted him. Didn't know what Sam Darnold was going to be. I don't know if you remember at the beginning of training camp last year, Sam Darnold was bad.
Again, it was all right. So we'll have the time for Jalen Milroe to develop, but Sam Darnold's going to have the year. I don't think anyone at the start of the year, maybe no one, expected the Seattle Seahawks to win
of course
that Super
not.
Bowl.
But-
so you don't expect Sam Darnold to take the steps that he did.
But at the start of camp, he was bad. Like the
Yeah,
first
but you're-
3 or 4 days, people were like, what the hell did we get
And
ourselves
to that
into?
point,
Yeah.
that starts gearing your mind of, all right, let's develop this Jalen Milroe cat.
And what did they do at the beginning of last year?
Develop Jalen Milroe.
Not developed. They put special packages in for him. And they have out there, and he showed he was not ready for prime time, and they moved off of that very quickly. But they did have him out there for the first few games where they had special packages because of his athleticism. But apparently, a couple touchdowns yesterday. He had one to Jadarian Price, who was lining up at wide receiver, getting ready to go out and catch more passes for the Seahawks team. And it's starting to get some buzz. Like, not only is it the guys coming back that you know, but there's a lot of backup players. Riley Mills, we talked about on Monday with Will Ortner. And Riley Mills was a guy that they drafted knowing that he was not going to play most of his rookie year because of a late injury when he was at Notre Dame, but he's going to come in fresh and ready to go. Byron Murphy, as good as he has been the last 2 years, is a third-year player. And he is an absolute beast. So there's so much youth on this team that has room to get better, and they're not all starters. They're not all guys that were frontline players for the Seattle Seahawks team. So that has me really intrigued. The other thing, Brian Fleury, we've talked about him, your new offensive coordinator. Clint Kubiak goes on. Leonard Williams came out and said, man, there is way more motion. You ever play a football game You ever watch a football game where your team is playing against the San Francisco 49ers and you're like, would they calm down on the motion? Well, he brought that from Kyle Shanahan. And it will be
What does Mike McDaniel do very well?
pre-snap,
Pre-snap
try to confuse
movement.
them as much as you possibly can. So that is something that you're going to see from Brian Fleury as a new offensive coordinator. And when you're number one defensive lineman, according to certain polls, is sitting back there, and Leonard Williams is going, man, this is a lot. Fullback motion, tight end motion, 2 tight end motions in the same setup, and just seeing that. So you now have a defense that is designed to confuse the offense and an offense that is designed to confuse the defense. It's going to be very tough to play against the Seahawks team. Here's another rumor that I have kind of heard again and again. Leonard Williams is a unique cat. He's the big cat. He loves his spear fishing. He's got a lot of interests outside of football. He's just a unique dude. He's played a long time in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Keep hearing that, you're not going to have him that much longer. He's eligible for a contract. Reports are today they are in conversation about extending Leonard Williams as a Seattle Seahawks. Love to hear that.
That's big.
Love to hear that.
That's really big.
I think absolutely it's big. So yeah, that is one of the things that I just wanted to kind of bring up. Seahawks, I know that they're not the favorite. I love that they're not the favorite, and you can't question any of the things that is happening with the Los Angeles Rams, especially with spyware pictures coming out of this is Aaron Donald. He's meeting with this guy. He might be there at camp right now and all that.
I'll have more for you later.
I'm confident that you will, but I like what's going on at Seahawks camp so far, and let's just knock on wood wherever we can that they do not become the update that we see where somebody goes down. But they've got depth. They've got guys that are going to have an opportunity to step up. Cannot wait to see it. Let's dive into a little bit more NFL. I need to know which entrance you thought was better to camp. I'll let you know which videos those are in the break so you can watch both of them. I'll have you tell me which entrance was better. And we got 2 more names on the top 100 NFL players for the 2026 season. Both of those next. Happy hour, bonus hour on 105.1 The Fan.
The Fan.
Only a few more days of bonus hours, and we'll have to work in your top 100 players into the normal flow of the show. It'll probably not give you as much time to pontificate about how your list is going versus theirs, but we got a little time here. On Monday, you will have Duck Insider back, so we'll be back to our 1-hour shows, but right now we're talking NFL, and there was a couple arrivals to training camp that were making headlines today. One of them not for great reasons. You happen to see C.J. Stroud showing up to Texans camp?
I did.
And?
I don't get what people are hating on him about.
Yeah, he's got the low effort shuffle going on. He's wearing baggy clothes. People say he looks out of shape, making fun of him for looking like, the middle school kid. He does look a little bit goofy as he's showing up, but yeah, that is not the confidence you want when a guy exited early from the postseason because he wasn't able to match what the defensive side of the ball did for his own team. This is a guy that needs to have a good year. Like, I don't know that you move on from C.J. Stroud because he has a mediocre year, but he can't be bad for this team. They're too good, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and they've got a lot of guys that are going to need to get paid after the guys that have already gotten paid, so they're going to have to figure some things out in the years to come. And whether or not C.J. Stroud gets an extension is going to be big for him personally, or he becomes one of those guys thrown on the pile of reclamation projects around the league that we've seen. It's not the best look.
And he's already cemented himself as the best NFL quarterback to ever play for Ohio State.
Yeah, ahead of Mike Tomczak. So please just let's mellow out a little bit. I mean, it's not exactly a University of Quarterbacks USA. They need a little help in that.
They got a lot of Heisman that played quarterback.
They do, and then went into the NFL and tried to play wide receiver or something else. So let's just say Ohio State doesn't have the best reputation for turning their quarterbacks into great NFL quarterbacks. The other arrival that I actually enjoyed, and I think we need to somehow get the setup here at Odyssey Portland, but there's a new PA announcer for the Baltimore Ravens. So they had him set up outside of the facility, and he apparently got a Facebook that gave him all of the names of all the players, and he was able to identify him as they were walking through the parking lot. I didn't see if he had a spotter or something, but he'd catch him at distance, showing up in street clothes, and then start booming his intro for all the players. Put swag on that one morning, just have as the sales department and the promotions folks show up, and as everybody shows up for their job with the PA. What we really need to do is we've got neighbors in this building. That would be hilarious.
We think.
Well, I think it would be hilarious. Casey, are you ready to get the next two players? We got number 46 and number 45 on the list. These are the top 100 players as voted on by players. Casey has challenged himself to make his own list so that he could compare them side by side and see how smart he is compared to the other players. This cat, who at number 46, only played 11 games last year, but hauled in 57 receptions for 628, that's my birthday, 628 receiving yards, 11 yards per reception, and 7 receiving touchdowns. He plays tight end for the San Francisco 49ers. George Kittle as your 46th best player in the NFL. Yes, no, maybe so?
I've got him at 60.
Oh.
I've got him at 60.
All right. Well, the players giving respect to George Kittle. I mean, he is one of the fiercest players out there. The way that he blocks with violence, somehow catches with violence, and then after the catch, watch out.
He's the best blocking tight end in the league, and let's not forget how dangerous he is with the ball in his hand.
He's a maniac. He's an absolute maniac. You see him riding deer through people's houses just to deliver pizzas. I mean, he's a maniac. He's an absolute insane man. This guy has had quite the career turnaround from a practice squad player to a starting linebacker in the NFL. 16 games, 123 tackles, 24 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, 7 passes defense, 2 picks, and 18 QB hits. Philadelphia Eagles, Zach Bond.
Oh,
that's
going to be a good one.
Oh, yeah? You think you got it?
What was
45.
I got him at 63.
63. Oh, you weren't even that close.
No. Zach Bond's one of my favorite linebackers in the league. In my fantasy football league with my family and our individual defensive players, that's who my keeper is. That's year in, year out. That's a guy that I'm going to look forward to keep watching.
I always say it about the quarterback position, especially because we talk about the quarterback position so much more, but there is such a thing in the NFL is getting with the right team at the right time.
Again,
and when you get fit, I mean, Zach Bond is one of those guys that nobody knew his name 2 years ago.
Again, we talked about it with Dusty. Again, Bryce Betcher was the quarterback of the offense for the Oregon Ducks.
I was thinking
that's
the exact same
quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles defenses.
Yep, I 100% agree with that. Well, there you have it. Not great on your matchups today. You seem to be getting worse on this.
I'm getting further and further away.
Yeah, whatever. We'll keep an eye on it. Once we get to the top, that's when you're going to get really mad, and I think you're going to be really wrong. But that's just my guess because I know you've got your favorites, and it's hard not to let that seep into it.
I do.
And we will see what happens as we continue on this little journey. But right now, we move into the regular happy hour. We do it next. This is 105.1 and the Fan Sports Network.
Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, it's day 2 of Big Ten Media Days in Chicago. Oregon Ducks head coach Dan Lanning, he was on the podium around 10:45 earlier this morning. Later on, he will be joined by quarterback Dante Moore, tight end Jamari Johnson, and defensive lineman Tatum Tuioti to answer questions about the upcoming season. Some NFL news for you, as Browns safety Grant Delpit is signing a 3-year extension worth up to $16 million a year. That includes $35 million guaranteed, as Delpit is tied to Cleveland until the 2029 season. The Atlanta Falcons quarterback Tua Tagovailoa has been sidelined in what head coach Kevin Stefanski denoted as an injury flare-up. In the meantime, Falcons are signing quarterback Cooper Rush after they have released veteran quarterback Trevor Siemian with a non-football injury designation earlier this morning. And finally, your Portland Fire fell to Asia Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces last night in Vegas. Final score on that one was 98-83 as Wilson, the four-time MVP, she finished with 28 points, 14 boards, and 4 assists as the Aces moved their record against the Fire to 10-1 in head-to-head matchups. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
This is the
Hey, happy Chicken Wing Day, all you beautiful radio listeners. Thank you for dropping in on our little happy hour. Hope you enjoyed one of the last few bonus hours. We appreciate you listening. If you're watching us on YouTube, here is a hand gesture just for you. You're welcome. YouTubers, feel free to hit us up on the chat. If you're listening on the radio through 105.1 FM or 1080 AM, online at 1051thefan.com, Odyssey.com, the Odyssey app, or you ask your smart speaker to play an old, dusty college football conversation, and this is what you got. Use the fan text line. It's 503-2GO-FAN. That's 503-864-6326. Use it. Use the text line. Use the chat. Share your thoughts. Ask questions. Solicit advice. Or answer me this, dear listeners. Chicken wings or lasagna? Lowercase, this happened a couple days ago. It was maybe 2 weeks ago.
Was it orange chicken and
hot dogs?
And hot dogs.
Come on, holiday people. Can we please separate the foods out? But they did it to us again. Today is Chicken Wing Day and it's Lasagna Day. There's got to be a clear winner in this. Am I right?
It's chicken wings.
Ooh.
Easy money any day of the week.
That's a wrong answer. Chicken wing is not even the best wing. I would put turkey wing ahead of chicken wing.
No.
Fine. Have you ever had a good duck wing?
Too fat.
Get your
duck wings are great.
Get it. Too fat.
Doesn't be a chicken wing.
Literally, you take a chicken wing. The only reason you like chicken wings is because they're so bland that they'll take any sauce that you put on them and won't interfere with it.
And you'd think that the beaver would sit here and say, "Oh yeah, I would destroy some duck wings any day."
Yeah.
No, that's not the case.
Oh,
10 toes down.
Duck. Well, this is not that show. Get out of here with that.
Chicken wing any day of
and
the
you
week.
don't like lasagna?
Oh,
forget the wing argument. Lasagna. Woo-hoo.
What's
your mom name?
What's the layer of cheese that's in between the noodles?
Cheese.
What type of cheese is it?
You know what? It can be a combination of cheeses, I believe.
It's the type of cheese that I.
Okay, so you're just not a lasagna fan.
I'm not a lasagna.
Okay,
it's not one of my top Italian dishes.
The other thing I was going to ask, if your mom doesn't make a good lasagna, I think that probably has a big effect on it. Does your mom make a lasagna?
No, she does not.
See, there you go. So yeah, my mom, not only does she make a fantastic lasagna, but have you ever been to Italy?
I have not.
Oh, you get yourself some lasagna out there. You just need to be exposed to more lasagna.
Again, Italian food.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite type of cuisine.
And you don't like, oh, man.
But I'll take chicken wings over lasagna any day.
Yeah, you're showing your youth, young man. As you grow and become more cultured and get the experience with more lasagna, you will become more like that big, fat orange cat. Garfield had it right, man. He's not going after chicken wings. Birds are usually the favorite, delicacy of cats, at least the cats that I've owned. I've drug multiple birds into my house, which is a ton of fun. If you've ever woken up to have a bird with one wing trying to fly out of your house and the other wing is just exposed bone, it's a great experience. It's an absolute blast. They do like wings. I get that, but lasagna, 100%. So please, listeners, let's try to get Casey on the right course. Maybe I'm wrong, but chicken wings are fine. They will certainly are serviceable, but they need to be prepared right. They need to be big enough. You give me the small wings. I don't want to. Buffalo Wild Wings. You get a lot of sauce options. Their wings are tiny. Absolutely.
Are you a flats or a drums guy?
Flats.
Strictly.
Drumsticks are fine.
Drumsticks are fine.
They're fine, but I love it when somebody sits down and starts grabbing drumsticks, and I just sit back and Relax. Grab the
Oh,
flats.
the flats for you, boy.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what I don't hate? I don't hate the whole wing intact, especially with chicken wings. Now, if you're doing turkey wing, you got to separate those because they're massive. But you can give me the whole wing and I will dissect that. You get a little less breading on it if it's done that way, but if you're just doing it, then you get a little bit more skin if you're just going to cook them without any bread. So I'm not mad at the chicken wing. Don't misconstrue this.
Again, I'm not mad at the lasagna.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But if I could have one for the rest
Yeah.
of the life, I'm doing the chicken wing.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm just gonna tell you that you're wrong. But if there is one thing that we can all agree on, Binary Brewing and The Fan have teamed up for the only Fan IPA available for a limited time. Taste The Fan with Binary Brewing's signature West Coast IPA. Go to Binary Brewing's Beaverton location and ask them about their only Fan. So good, only The Fan and Binary Brewing can pull it off. Should we do it? You want to do some in case you missed it?
Let's do it.
All right. Maybe. Efforting. In case you missed it, Los Angeles Lakers star Luka Doncic is reportedly organizing a team bonding trip to Sylvania for his teammates. Sources say that the team is pumped, but Sylvanian residents are pissed that he waited until after LeBron took off to book flights. What are you doing, man? One resident hoophead was quoted as saying, "So let me get this straight. You play with LeBron for a year and a half. You wait for a guy to leave, then you bring Austin Reeves, dorky kid from Indiana State and team called Billikens, and smaller, less talented, unaccomplished, no personality, nepo baby clone of Bron. That's what you get for us? Come on, Luka. You need to be better." This is ridiculous. What did he do? That was a quote. That's what he said.
Sounded like Groot over there.
Very possibly. I don't know. Do you know where Groot is from?
Gru, I should say.
Yeah, Groot. That's okay. Groot.
The Marvel brain.
It's okay. I get confused for this sometimes. There's no problem. You do what you do. Try your best. The resident was not happy. I'm just. In case you missed it, the Philadelphia 76ers dealt Johnny Brome something and a 2027 second-round pick to the LA Clippers in exchange for cash considerations. This is brutal. Imagine how excited you'd be hearing LeBron is coming to your team only to find out you won't be playing with him because you got traded instead of not playing with him because you suck. Do you know how bad that would be? That'd be this. He averaged 0.9 points per game in who knows how many minutes last year.
Apparently that deal keeps them under the second apron as well.
We know why we did. For cash consider. You get here, take him, and I'll throw in a pick. Just like whatever you want for cash. Like it was like that baseball player
just no more second apron.
There's that baseball player that got traded for beers. It's like that. It is pretty much that. And you're the guy. You're like, almost got to meet him. That would have been neat. In case you missed it, despite a 3-14 record in his first season as their head coach, Jet players are raving about Aaron Glenn, with linebacker Demario Davis saying all 90 guys would, quote, run through a wall for him, which is great, Aaron, but you're a defensive coach. Why don't you save some drywall and teach him to intercept the football instead? Maybe... Didn't Brian Daboll get fired mid-season last year for letting Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo run through walls at MetLife Stadium? Like, maybe that's not Daboll, definitely not the gold standard for New York coaches. But, you know, Aaron, Glenn is looking at that blue tent and thinking how nice it would be if he could just stick his head in there for a quick nap. Like, that would be, it's not the worst idea. And finally, in case you missed it, Bears quarterback Caleb Williams dropped 10 to 15 pounds in the offseason in a calculated bid to elevate his game to MVP levels. Plus, he admitted that his new favorite shade of lavender nail polish just looks way better on a, quote, skinny bitch. Let's go! Hell yeah, C-Dub. You won't catch me wearing no pastels when I'm bloated. Let's go, baby. I'm with you. Gotta look good, am I right? That's day one stuff. Never mix Easter colors with sausage fingers. You know that's true, Casey. You know the old rule of thumb. If all your fingers look like thumbs, you got to stick to neutrals and nudes in a low gloss or matte finish. Come on. It's common. It's common knowledge. Is that too many? Did we do too many? Might have been one of my favorite jokes that I wrote. Come on. Let's go. This skinny bitch ain't going to be wearing that. All right. Sorry. Next we go. That's just stupid. Next, we're going to go into the Daily Buzz. A few things to talk about. Okay, maybe we don't trade bomb can zone. Ohtani has a couple owies, and the Falcons rush to find a healthy quarterback. All that in the Daily Buzz. We do it next. It's Happy Hour on 105.1 The Fan.
Prime time.
All right, the Mariners start off their series in Los Angeles against the Dodgers in a wonderful fashion. They get a 7-6 victory. It took everything they had to beat the reigning World Series champions. And I know yesterday I said if you're not going to keep Dom Canzone on this roster moving forward, if he's not going to be a focal piece of the offense, maybe just get rid of him. Well, 2 home runs last night has me maybe rethinking that. We also got a home run from Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, but more importantly, you know what you got? You got the 4th home run of the season for Rob Refsnyder, who also got his first double of the season. The guy you brought in just to hit lefties finally hit a lefty. Let's go! Mariners get 7 runs, and what might be more importantly from yesterday, you know who else got a home run? Brendan Donovan.
Ooh.
Got his first home run down at AAA Tacoma. They were taking on the Sacramento River Cats, and Donovan is working his way back to the Major League roster, had a multi-hit game, looked like he was getting closer to returning, finally getting the full confidence of his swing back, which is fantastic. He, of course, had a better night at the ballpark than did a kid named Alek Thomas. I don't know if you know who Alek Thomas is, but he is now officially famous for being the future Dodgers outfielder that was run over by the River Cats mascot while the mascot was buzzing around the field on a scooter. Guy comes running out of the dugout, just gets lit up by the mascot. If you've not seen it, you should probably take a look.
The Buzz.
Well, slow start for your Portland Fire. They dug themselves a big hole and just weren't able to get out of it. 28 points from Asia Wilson ended up being enough for the Aces to take out the Fire 98-83. Based on the wince I just saw from Young Lowercase, I assume you watched Mr. Thomas get smoked by the River Cat.
Oh, he's just leaving the dugout,
Oh,
just
yeah.
trying to get
No
out to
clue.
the field, puts the hat over the eyes a little bit, and boom, got it. Clears him.
And this is just a reminder to everybody out there, if you're wearing a mascot costume, your vision is limited, and unless you're ringing the bell on your e-scooter, those can be very silent, especially with an ovation, crowd making an ovation at your performance as they go out there, and you can be a danger to outfielders. So if you're going to scooter in a mascot costume, please ring the bell to warn people that you're out there. That's our warning for today.
The Buzz.
Oh, Shohei Ohtani is on a holding pattern for returning back to the pitcher's mound. He is hitting and hitting well, but 2 different injuries are holding him from returning to the mound. He's got a lingering knee soreness and his right bicep not 100%. So he is going to take a little more rest before he makes it back. I will say right now, for all the Mariners fans that are out there, thank you for taking your time with this injury. We want to make sure that you're fully healthy when you get into the National League playoffs, and that's, I think, the most important thing right now. So no need to rush back. You don't need to pitch just yet. So thank you for being responsible about that.
The Buzz.
How about the San Diego Padres? I guess technically they're your Vetter Cup champions. The guy named Fernando Tatis Jr. Oh, what did he do against the Rockies yesterday? How about going 5 for 5, and the Rockies end up losing to the Padres on a Xander Bogaerts sac fly in the 9th inning. 3rd time the Padres have walked off the Rockies so far this season.
Oh,
I mean, you're the Rockies. You're supposed to get walked off. You're the
But if
Padres.
that's
You've been middling.
that's the only close game that you're competing in.
Yeah, it's not
It's
great.
not breaking your way.
And Tatis himself, 5 for 5, 2 RBI. Not a bad little outing for him. For a team that's really is in the middle of the fight for the National League wildcard game, we're pretty much at the 2/3 mark for almost all teams right now. So what's that, 108 games or something like that is right around the 2/3 mark. So just a little runway to make, and the Padres playing well and their stars playing well at the right time. But we'll see if they hang on to said stars or if they end up being sellers with guys like Mason Miller and guys all around their lineup. We'll see.
The Buzz.
This is 2 days in a row. I'm doing my best to read things that I assume are accurate, but sometimes Maybe I misread them. That's entirely possible. Don't get me wrong with that. But did we not talk about Curtis Mead, who just went to the Boston Red Sox? He had a hand injury. He was able to squeeze his hand just fine. We said this yesterday. Everything should be okay. X-rays negative. Today, broken wrist. He's got a broken wrist and he's on the IL. So who knows when he's coming back. But the Boston Red Sox, one of the hottest teams in baseball, go out and make a move before the trade deadline. And the guy is already hurt and on the IL. Oops. Played part of one game. So that's good.
The Buzz.
The Browns are apparently taking a visit from a former number 1 overall pick. Tell me, Steelers fan, are you excited to see Jared Verse get a running mate on the defensive edge named Jadeveon Clowney? Does that sound like a name that you want to be back playing? He's 33 years old, so he can't be as much of a menace as he once was, but he did have 8.5 sacks and 13 games for the Cowboys last year, and he has 166 career sacks in 153 games. You want any part of that?
Is his name Myles Garrett?
It is not.
I don't think I'm worried that much.
But again, adding to talent is...
Yeah, Jadeveon was on the roster with Myles Garrett a few years ago.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett still was the problem.
Oh, no, of course.
Again, Jadeveon being there,
yeah,
that's good for the Browns.
Yeah.
It doesn't worry me if I'm an offense.
I gotcha. Speaking of the Browns, they have a guy named Denzel Ward who is very rich today. He was extended for a 2-year, $62 million extension. That's not bad. I believe that puts him in the top echelon, but not the very top. Is it the very top?
That's the number 1.
He reset the market. There you go. So if you're looking at the Seahawks and what they have to do to get things done with Spoon, the market has been reset by Denzel Ward. So he's right at it, though, because we had somebody else at $31 million. I know when we looked at it. We'll see if we can take a look at that. Let's move on. Just a couple more little NFL notes before we get out of here. Tua Tagovailoa sidelined by a back flare-up. You already have Michael Penix Jr., who is not healthy enough to go for camp. Trevor Siemian was just released, so the Falcons turn to veteran Cooper Rush. If they start the season with Cooper Rush, this is a team that already has one of the best running backs in football in a hold-in situation. Did they fire their coach last year after having a good year and now have turned over the keys to somebody else? Am I thinking of that correctly, or am I thinking of somebody else?
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, they were, 8-9 last year?
They were tied for the best record in the division, and they finished stronger than they did during the year. So, yeah, and then you fire Raheem Morris. Do I remembering this correctly?
Correct.
It's not great if you push your chips into the Tua pile and then go, well, it's either going to be Penix or, and now here they are, 2 guys that are perpetually injured again.
And Stefanski once again not figuring out who his quarterback is.
Yeah, 2-time coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski, having no idea, but this is what you've given him to work with. Cooper Rush any good?
He won a few games for Dallas.
So maybe.
Very middle of the road.
Yes, it's the safe guy that's out there. So I don't know where people are. I mean, Tom Brady, is he going to come back? He has to sell part of the Raiders and come. No, he's a WWE star now, so we have to let him go.
Trent McDuffie was the name that you're thinking of. He got $31 million this year. Denzel Ward's getting
31.1. Yep. And what are the other names on the top of that list?
Sauce Gardner, he's making 30.1. Derek Stingley, he's making 30, and J.C.
I was thinking
Horn,
Stingley
he's making
got paid
25.
more. And we still have not seen an extension for Patrick Surtain, Devin Witherspoon.
Pat Surtain, Devin Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah. Oh, Christian Gonzalez is
Joey Porter Jr.
Joey Porter Jr. I mean, he's not in the league with those guys. He's a Steeler.
Yeah, okay.
You know I have to give you a hard time. If I didn't, you would feel uncomfortable. So calm down. Bijan Robinson, again, is doing a hold-in. He is not the only one. Jahmyr Gibbs also sitting out practices until he secures a new long-term big pile of guaranteed money. Those are 2 of the best backs in football.
Again, if you want to pay Isaiah Pacheco some money, make sure that you're going to pay your number 1 bell cow.
Yeah, I mean, well, these are game-changing backs, guys with electric speed, vision, ability to catch a ball out of the backfield, do-it-all backs that when you see them on the field, there are not a lot of guys in the NFL where you just go, oh, he's different. Those are 2 of them. Those are definitely two of them at that position, so I'm sure something will get done. But right now, we need to get something done. We need to walk over to the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk and see what we missed.
First on the Fan, Tarek Skubal, the trade deadline target for the Detroit Tigers, has finally reached 1,000 strikeouts. He becomes the 17th pitcher in franchise history to record 1,000 strikeouts. That list includes Hall of Famers Jack Morris, Hal Newhouser, Jim Bunning, likely future Hall of Famers Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer, and longtime Hall of Fame candidate Mickey Lalich. Skubal reached it in 857 innings, topping Scherzer's 944 2/3 for the fastest to 1,000 strikeouts in Tigers history. It's also the 5th fastest left-hander to 1,000 strikeouts in MLB history, only behind Aroldis Chapman, Billy Wagner, Robbie Ray, and Blake Snell.
You literally just dropped that he finally got to 1,000 strikeouts. And how many of those guys were traded in the same week that they got to 1,000 strikeouts? I can't remember. Hal Newhouser played in 40s during World War II era. Was he traded to the Germans or something?
No, he could have just went to war. I don't know if that's a trade.
I meant to the Eastern Front. Was he traded to the Eastern Front right after that?
You want to know what the best part about this is? Skubal was cheered at every opportunity by the crowd of 34,000 while taking a 7-0 shutout into the 7th inning. The Tigers lost 10-9 in a 12-inning loss to Baltimore.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. So, hey, Tarek Skubal, thanks for everything you did for Detroit. Thanks for hitting the milestone here. Have a great time elsewhere.
See you in pinstripes, pal.
Oh, shut up.
And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Sports Saturday The subtext. We've got the clips, but what were they really saying? Let's listen in. Let's listen in. Let's listen in. Let's listen in. Let's listen in.
I have had conversations with him.
And what?
That's it.
What, can you,
No, there's no. Here's what I'll tell you. You know, we've kept in contact. He's feeling good. His training is going really well, but no new news on the front of like any imminent decision on whether he's going to play or not.
And is he using the Rams facility for some of that training, or is he doing that solely?
He's got places that he can train at.
Is the Rams facility one of them?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure if he's.
I'm not sure. I mean, he's out here with us. There's nobody at the Rams facility right now, so maybe TMZ knows the answer to that.
That was Sean McVay when questioned about, is Aaron Donald going to return? Well, I think what Sean McVay is saying is, I got 72 other guys to whittle down to 53 in a few weeks. I'm not worried about Aaron Donald. If he wants to come back, by all means, we'll have him. But Aaron's going to do Aaron things.
No, what he is saying is, I sure as hell hope so. That would be awesome. It sure would be nice to have a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year on a defensive line that already has maybe the greatest defensive end we've ever seen in the game. I've got the MVP on one side. I've got the reigning Defensive Player of the Year. I've got the new sack king. If I could have somebody that can rush up the middle and absolutely murder every other team, I won't count it as cheating if we're paying him a LeBron salary to come out and be the baddest dude in football again. That'd be pretty cool. When you have two guys that split votes for Defensive Player of the Year on your defensive line, does that mean that somebody accidentally wins it that doesn't deserve it because nobody wants to give it to a Ram? I think that's what McVay is thinking.
I think it's TJ Watt's window.
There you see what you're saying. I think McVay knows. I think McVay is talking to him often, and I think he's full of it in that conversation.
Yeah, this is it.
You know, I guess why? What is it? Why is this it?
I thought last year might be it, and then Mike got hired, and I talked to the wife, and she said, "You can do one more year." So I said, "Well, see if it works out," and then it kind of all came together.
Aaron Rodgers is listening to his wife? Aaron Rodgers doesn't even listen to his own head. What are we talking about? Aaron Rodgers saying that it's his wife's decision that it's his last year? No. Aaron's body can't do it anymore.
Well, Aaron's body
But
is...
his arm is. The legs were always the issue. The arm was never a question.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Achilles was an issue a couple years ago for sure. Well, it's also the decision making. He was gun shy last year. I think that Aaron Rodgers, to himself, is saying that I need to finish on top, and I have the ability to go out there and do it. And last year wasn't the best representation of what it is, and he wants to have this legacy that he's marred a little bit. I think he's aware of that. Going back and reconciling with his family wasn't an accident. He is trying to put together a much better public image because he wants to be remembered as one of the greats, not as a weirdo that went off in the sunset. But I think you're right. I think that he's probably well past his prime. He's past his mobility, and he's going to take a couple shots that are going to hurt a lot more than they did when he was 25 years old, when he was 35 years old. He is an old man out there trying to prove that he's still got it, and I think the NFL will end up proving that he doesn't. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, my wife had put a $5 bill in my backpack. A little inside joke between her and I, but I took that $5 bill and I went and gave it to Jalen Carter and I smacked it on his chest and I said, "Let me put 5 on top of that." So we just had a little fun, but he's a great competitor, great player. He's disrupting practice out there today. I mean, just excited for him to be able to focus on what's to come and move forward. Yeah.
What are you going to do with the $5 bill that Jalen Hurts gave you? You seen that? You told us about it, yeah. Man, that's my guy, man. He's just so professional. When he's around, it's just a different feeling. And, just I don't know. He's just a big role. Like he's like a big brother also. And when I talk to him, it's just one-on-one. It's always serious talks. He's never play around. And I got a lot of support in him. Yes. You going to spend it or frame it? I said if he would have signed it, it'd probably be worth $500.
Probably raised that.
But no, I got it held. It's at the house, though. I literally held it all day. It felt like my pockets for teammates giving it to me. It was a funny moment, though.
That was, the first part of that clip was Jalen Hurts saying, well, I just gave a $5 bill to my new D tackle who just got paid. And that second half, well, that was Jalen Carter showing his appreciation for his quarterback, the leader of his locker room. Because Jalen Carter's in a pretty good mood. He just inked himself a 4-year, $152 million extension, $106 million guaranteed. But let's take the time. Jalen Hurts gave him the $5 bill.
Come on!
Gave him some extra bread.
I love that he cared enough about it that he tried to keep it, but it kept falling out of his pocket. I mean, I'm sure that there is a roll of cash that he has. That $5 bill is like a penny to the rest of us, and he's just like, whatever it is. I'm waiting for this guy to turn into Albert Ainsworth, and everybody come out and tell the story of when things went south for the Eagles. That is so much money to a guy that I hope is reliable if you're an Eagles fan, but I don't know, man. It's been a while since we've had a misallocation of funds, and this one just all day yesterday, I just kept thinking, I was like, this is not going to end well for the Eagles. They've been right how many times so far, and I've been wrong how many
time when it comes to
I've been wrong how many times. So it may be another one, but just listening to the way that they had the little playful banter, it seems like they get along. But how would you not be happy after you just got paid more than anybody at your position ever in the history of the NFL? You should probably be in a good mood.
And I learned a paper trail that connects Shohei Ohtani to Matt Boyer. And I've tracked down a source who has that proof. But they're nervous, and it takes weeks before the source agrees to show it to me. And they're not going to make it easy. It's the middle of the night. I'm driving to meet my contact. I find them standing outside of a car in a parking lot waiting for me. I drop into the passenger seat. The contact hands me a cell phone and tells me the proof I want will appear on an encrypted app, and each image will disappear in 30 seconds. I can't take pictures, but I can take notes. I pull out my notebook, and I tell my contact, I'm ready. A document appears on the screen, September 14th, 2023, $500,000. I spot the word loan and scribble it down in my notebook, but I don't have time to ask questions because the second document appears, October 2nd, 2023, $500,000. Both documents include the same long list of numbers on the screen. Later, after I drive away, I will stare at the jumble of letters and numbers I scribbled into my notebook, and I'll realize it's routing information. I just saw wire transfers from a bank account at Bank of America, and there's a name attached to the account, Shohei Ohtani.
That was a sneak peek of the 30 for 30 podcast of the betrayal of Shohei Ohtani. That was a little bit damning that we listened to there. Do you think that we'll get new information or at least credible information that comes out about the Shohei?
No. I mean, the idea that it was an interpreter and the story that they have told will be echoed by this documentary. It'll create that tension, I guess, that music had. That was exhausting. I looked at my notebook and I tried to figure out what these numbers meant, and then I realized nobody wants Shohei Ohtani to be ripped away from baseball and become the new international Pete Rose, less than baseball. The gambling partnerships that they've made with the NBA and the NFL and Major League Baseball have gotten some people in a lot of trouble. Terry Rozier is maybe the biggest name. I guess Chauncey Billups probably the biggest name that has been tied to this. Of course, it wasn't him as an on-field performer at the time, but you can lose a Jonte Porter, and you can lose who was a couple wide receivers that have had. I can't even remember who exactly it was, but you cannot lose a Shohei Ohtani to something like this without it becoming
Calvin Ridley.
It might have been Calvin Ridley. But either way, I don't need to throw names out if I'm not sure. But It would be so bad for baseball and everything they're trying to accomplish. So this will make sure that it, without a shadow of a doubt, it was definitely the interpreter, and he was duping Shohei Ohtani. And Shohei's just a lovable big galoot, and he just trusted the guy too much. And we'll all settle up and just go, oh, man, well, thank God he got rid of that interpreter. I'm glad they caught him before it got worse. And we'll all keep going loving Shohei Ohtani, and he probably will stop gambling. Not that any of that actually happened, but I think that's the story that they will tell is the narrative that's already out there, and it'll just reaffirm that, and everybody that had their tinfoil hats on thinking it was Shohei will be like, oh, I guess they proved it because she wrote in her notebook some numbers, and she was smart enough to figure out that it was a routing number.
That's all I got for you.
That's all. I thought you had one more. Didn't I send you one?
That's all I got for you.
That's all you got for me. All right. Well, the one that I thought we were going to talk about was the Matt Damon.
Did you send it to me?
I certainly did, young man. So here's one story that I wanted to squeeze in before the week was over. You watched The Odyssey, yes?
I did.
So there's a headline that I keep seeing all week. The Odyssey, The Odyssey, The Odyssey. Matt Damon's stunt double was...
Oh, I thought this was your one for the road.
No. The one for the road's the other one. See, now you're saying this is why I wanted to hear the Matt Damon audio here. But Matt Damon clarified. So he does have a woman that is his stunt double. But what was really cool is I watched an interview with Christopher Nolan the other day. And I haven't seen the movie yet, so I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody because I don't know anything about the movie. You loved it.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, I thought it was great.
So one of the cool things in the interview that I saw with Christopher Nolan is he used every strategy of old school movie making that he possibly could. So there's a Cyclops in the movie. He said he used an actor, he used puppets, he used models, he used CGI. He used a combination of all of those things. But there's a scene in the movie where apparently Odysseus comes up to the giants. And Matt Damon, of course, plays Odysseus in the movie. And instead of using CGI or using, any After Effects, they used practical tricks and they used forced perspective on it. So what they did was they got a line of 7-foot stunt people to play the giants. And instead of Matt Damon being there, they found a 4'6" woman, dressed her as Odysseus, and it's her back. If you look at the photo of it, it just looks like it almost looks fake. Of course, it's forced perspective, but it's not CGI. They actually found a 4'6" stunt woman who is then standing as Odysseus in front of a bunch of 7-foot giants. So it's a really cool idea. But the idea that every stunt that is performed in the movie and there's a woman that is Matt Damon's double in the movie is not exactly the case. Instead, they found a jacked, short person. She happened to be a woman.
She's a Canadian stunt performer by the name of...
She is from Vancouver, Washington. Vancouver, BC.
By the name of Devin Dalton. She's also done work on The Last of Us and the Planet of the Apes franchise.
Yeah, and if you see photos of her, she does have as good or better arms than
She
Matt
also
Damon.
voiced Ocelus in My Little Pony, Friendships is Magic, and Shasa Gluten.
Yeah,
in the English dub of Beyblade Burst.
So she is now getting her little star turn from this, and Matt Damon making sure that he gives a shout out to her any chance he's get. We had audio for it, but hey, a little miscommunication. You were in here firming it with Joe Fish, so the Fish firm got in your way. I totally understand. No fault of your own. But I've got another one that's really weird for one more for the road, and we'll do that next. It's Happy Hour on 105.1 and the Fan Sports Network.
The new
Missed anything from this show, past shows, future shows, use the Fan podcast. It's at 1051thefan.com, Odyssey.com, the Odyssey app, anywhere you find your podcast. If you don't know how to do a podcast by now, I mean, what are we really even talking about here? What we're talking about, 41 days, 14 hours, 29 minutes, and 0 seconds until the NFL kicks off. Patriots at Seahawks, September 9th. It's a Wednesday night. Gonna be awesome. Casey, what are people saying on the fan text line and the YouTube chats that we need to address?
People saying they used to run the option with Pat White and Steve Slayton, and, well, it was unstoppable.
There was a slant pattern in one of the college football games. It didn't matter who the receiver was. If you ran this certain play, the safety would drop forward, and it was impossible to catch said wide receiver. And it was just, you just save that play, especially if you're playing against a computer. Every time. Worked every time. And with that, let's do one more. A school district in the rural corner of upstate New York is hitting pause on its plans to deploy an AI-powered humanoid robot in the classroom after state education officials, teachers, and local residents raise concerns, including the maker's ties to a company that produces hyper-realistic sex robots.
You had me watch a video during the break.
Oh, I had you watch a video during the break.
I have never been more disturbed in my life.
The Salamanca City Central School District Board approved nearly $60,000 for a purchase from Realbotics with a vision that Sally, as a stationary robot with long dark hair, would be a teaching assistant at the school and help them study robotics. I did make you watch the video.
Who does she teaching assist for? Who is she the teaching assistant for?
Okay.
Please tell me it's one of the female teachers.
I had to do not very much digging. If you are at home and would like to see what these teaching assistant looks like, go to Realbotics. So it's the word real, R-E-A-L, bot I-X. And it is a promotional video for their line of helping robots. And Casey, you just watched it. I want because your response was exactly what I hoped it would be. What are they making robots for?
To do the robots.
Well, yes, but no, what do they say in the video? How do they promote? They're going to be, just great helps in hospitals and in schools.
Yeah, they'll help with delivery systems and
companionship. And you look at any of these robots, it is as creepy as all get out. The guy that is running Realbotics is exactly who you'd expect it to be. It is a guy that probably didn't get enough dates in high school, but now has made some money making robots, and he's trying to look cool, but he definitely has a robot girlfriend. There is no question about it. But here's the crazy part is they got all the way to the point where they were ready to launch the robot in schools, and people went, wait, we're doing what now? And it took me very little time to find an image of this robot and then to find a video of the robot. There is zero reason they're making these robots. They're just going, can we make money doing anything else with these? So the good news...
Yeah, let's introduce them to a bunch of impressionable teenagers.
The good news is they have paused the program, not stopped it, paused plans on the deployment of the AI.
Oh, they just hit pause.
Yeah, they literally is the verbiage that they used on deploying the AI-powered humanoid robot in the classroom. But all the single dads in that state of New York are like, I think this is a pretty good idea. Maybe can we borrow that robot for a little bit?
I'm a taxpayer. I pay taxes for my kid to go to that school.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, so
this is bad.
It is the future is now. I don't know if you saw the story earlier this month. There was a story that AI from OpenAI, one of their test runs, independently hacked into a small tech startup that is trying to go public, and they did that without any direction whatsoever, just testing its own boundaries.
Of course.
So we've got OpenAI ready to unleash itself and hack its way through the firewalls of a tech startup, and now we have humanoid robots, not just in the world, but in our children's classrooms.
It's the fact that they convinced them that it was a good idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a dystopian future meets Idiocracy. And it's going to be just so much fun to sit back and watch what they do. If you'd like to do the comparison that I did earlier, I would recommend playing the Realbotics video with these companion robots and then the Tony Roma arrest video at the same time. And do me a favor, see which of the three video makes you uncomfortable. Sex robots, Tony Romo getting pulled over, or Tony Romo doing his sobriety test. I had a three-way tie. We'll see what your score is. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We're done for now. Big thanks to Dusty Hera joining us for our last Hump Days with Hera. Thank you, Lowercase. Thank you, everybody that listened. And, of course, thank you, Isaac Rupp. We're all done for now. Bye-bye.